build and support your community. Nobody does this work, this creative work alone. It is really the communities that I have built that have supported me and that I also pour into. Robin Roberts, in talking about this series, and the goals, she always says reaction leads to action, which to me it is all about get into it. If you are so moved, get into it and get involved. Nothing happens sitting on the sidelines. You want to make the art, you want to make the change. You're so moved by a story. You want to help victims and be an advocate for them. You want to be a creative who is telling these stories. Lean into action.
Lean into action. No truer words spoken. When we come forward in our remaining minutes with Lisa Cortez, we want to get her hot take on the Met Gala. Everybody is buzzing about this. Everybody's talking Black Dandy. We want to get her hot take on one of the most iconic nights we've ever seen. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
The audience is listening. Thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. Following this summer's issues at Newark Airport, the Department of Transportation is now looking into a decision made last summer to move airspace control for Newark from the New York base to Philadelphia. The FAA's decision was made due to staffing issues.
Moving N90 was the wrong decision. I'm confident that this audit will show just that. And again, we need to get more people hired so there's not overtime and there's less burnout.
That's New York Congresswoman Lauren Gillen. The audit is expected to take about 2 months. Tennessee death row inmate Byron Black is set to be executed tomorrow. The Black inmate has an implanted defibrillator and his attorney asked to have it deactivated. They claim the device could go off during the lethal injection, causing his client to suffer. Black was convicted in the shooting deaths of his girlfriend and her 2 daughters in 1998. And Sean Diddy Combs is being denied bail once again. Diddy is set to be sentenced October 3rd. I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News, now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams are facing another injury concern with quarterback Matthew Stafford. Stafford is planning to see a back specialist to get a better idea of the soreness he's been feeling in his back since the start of training camp last week. The 37-year-old Stafford has not participated in any of the Rams' workouts at Loyola Marymount. At the moment, the Rams' backup quarterbacks are Jimmy Garoppolo and Stetson Bennett. The Rams have about a month to see if Stafford will be ready for their season opener September 7th against Houston at SoFi Stadium. The NCAA is not expanding its tournament bracket for men's and women's basketball. A proposal had been submitted to expand the field from 64 teams to 72 or 76 for the coming season. Top 5 schools in the preseason college football poll: Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia, and Notre Dame. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay!
You have cancer. The 3 words no one wants to hear. Of the cancers that impact our community, lung cancer is the most dangerous. More people succumb to lung cancer than colon, breast, and prostate combined. Black men are 12% more likely to develop lung cancer, and cases for Black women are rising. Early detection and comprehensive treatment is the best way to beat this dreaded disease. Providence is a research leader in multi-cancer early detection, offering blood tests that identify fast-spreading cancers that don't show symptoms in early stages. The Providence Los Angeles Integrated Network Cancer Program determines best protocols for each patient, interacting with specialists who share experiences, perspectives, and new findings specific to each case. With over 1,000 board-certified physicians, including top oncologists, surgeons, radiologists, and nurse specialists, Providence delivers whole-person care that understands your culture, values, preferences, and priorities. So, if you hear the words, "you have cancer," all you need is faith and providence.org/cancer.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Now back to building a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and I always enjoy talking to Emmy Award-winning director-producer Lisa Cortez. Please mark your calendar, set your DVR. You don't want to miss the new ABC News Studios docuseries, Murder Has Two Faces. It dropped on Hulu this week, and you don't want to miss it. There are lots of headlines of people who have been tragically murdered. Well, this series attempts to revisit those headlines, to revisit their personhood, to help achieve some level of justice by telling their stories. and pointing out the distinction between, how we talk about and think about and cover stories of different people. Lisa, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
And so switching gears a little bit, I've got to talk to you about the Met Gala. It was the most iconic Met Gala I have ever seen. And in part because I've never seen Black people show up on the Met Gala carpet the way that they did this week. Give us your hot take. What were the most memorable moments for you from this year's Black dandy themed Met Gala?
Well, when we show up, we show out, as you know. And I loved Miss Ross, but a lot of people didn't get the nuance with Miss Ross. In her dress, she had embroidered the names of her children. So, so much about Black style is about legacy. All of us can look at the family photograph and see over the years, whether we had a nickel or $100, our aunties and uncles and family brought their Sunday best every day. Mm-hmm. And so that, to me, it was reverberating as I watched all of the beautiful people on the steps of the Met. I thought of Andre Leon Talley, who for so long advocated in the fashion space for our representation there. I love Tiana Taylor. She brought the tailoring with a do-rag, she was time traveling in that outfit because there were references to dandyism on this interesting continuum. I stand for Zendaya every day, all the time. I just think she's one of the most smart and super talented visionaries out there, as an actor, but more so as an artist. There's a great mind there that we are just beginning to see how powerful it is in what she manifests. Janelle Monáe, of course, that Paul Tazwell collaborated to bring together the presentation. And then I loved when he peeled back and you saw what she was wearing. It's like, oh yeah, they got the assignment. And of course, the amazing, brilliant Coleman Domingo, who, like, every time we see him, he is representing in the most authentic, powerful way. So those were all and I could go on and on and on, but I want to make certain that I bring up the name of a sister, Chantel Lewis, who in 2010 published a book called Dandelion. And it was based on her research of going from Brazzaville in the Congo, where there are the sapeurs, the people in the community who dress elegantly, she travels to Cape Town. She goes to Brixton. She goes to New Orleans. She looks at the Harlem Renaissance. And this book is not only beautiful, but it's a great scholarly piece. And, here it is. It's 2010 when this book came out. And I want to make certain that people look at her scholarship. And if they want to expand their knowledge of dandies, not only in the America, but Black dandyism throughout the diaspora too.
I mean, it is an incredible book, and we look to have her on the show sometime soon, because I think right now a lot of people are sort of searching for, okay, how are we going to get to the other side of what is afoot in this country, what is afoot in the world? And it's sort of a Sankofa moment. We have an opportunity to look back. I mean, this is one of the things that Andre Leon Talley was so gifted at, was being connected to his roots and connected to the history, and knowing that, he wasn't the only one, that he was a part of. He was a part of a long line, of folks that that fought and resisted and dared to imagine and reimagine. And so what a moving tribute also to Andre Leon Talley. As I was watching it, I don't know if you had this experience, but part of my heart ached, because I thought, wow, what if Andre Leon Talley had a chance to actually witness this, to see and experience the fullness of this very moving tribute to him and so many.
I think a lot of people felt that. We felt his spirit. And as we're talking this today, I'm thinking, it's about legacy. It's about our history. Like, in this incredibly challenging time, I am sitting in my office surrounded by pictures of my aunties, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents. That is where I draw my sustenance from. And when you know your history, it's a complicated one that we as Black people have, but it is one of elegance, of survival, of striving and winning in some of the most daunting circumstances. Like, that is a byproduct. To me, that's the meta conversation that we have to lean into, the meta experience that feeds us and sustains us.
That's right. That's right. And the dignity of our people in light of all of that. Lisa, the Met Gala raised the bar with a record haul of $31 million, right? So all this talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion and how it's over, it's done, Black is not in vogue anymore. You and I know that is far from the case and will never be the case, given our role in shaping culture and elevating culture. But, what are your thoughts on this record $31 million fundraiser for the Met Gala Institute?
Well, I hope that those wonderful philanthropists who are supporting the Costume Institute will now look to some of the arts organizations who have been affected by the cuts that are happening. I live in New York. The Classical Theater of Harlem lost grants to put on their incredible performances that they bring to the community here. So if you had some ducats for the Costume Institute, now come and support the Classical Theater of Harlem or other arts entities in your community who have been adversely affected by these cuts that have happened across the board.
Mic drop. Enough said.
Well, but you know what? We got to save ourselves.
You're right. And we have to save ourselves when, pun intended, it's not fashionable to do so, right? When you're not getting a Getty image at the end of the night, when you're not wearing, the fancy gown or the fancy suit from the fancy designer, right? But it's, what do we do in between, right? It's not always sort of the Met Gala moments, but it's the many moments in between that really make the difference over time.
Yeah, it's also, you know what? You have $10 helps.
Yep.
You have $1,000, great. I look at so many successful Indiegogo campaigns to fund a film, and you look at the donor level. It's not all, $1,000 or $10,000. It's the $25. It's the less than $100 contributions. They add up. And so if you are out there and you are a young budding philanthropist, but you're thinking, I don't have big ducats. Yeah, you have enough to help someone. And particularly in the arts, we are in dire need of support.
And donors pay attention to that. They pay attention not just to what people are giving, but how many new donors do you have? How many folks are taking the on-ramp that is whatever your project is? And so, our thanks to the phenomenal Lisa Cortez, director, producer of Hulu's Murder Has Two Faces. Remember, the series just dropped this week, and so check it out. You will not be disappointed. And we thank you. We thank you for joining us and for everything you do to build a more perfect union, starting on the screen, but certainly reaching far off the screen.
And I appreciate you always preparing a place for me to come and share. And I hope that your audience is aware of what a gem and a jewel you are.
See you soon. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent. And the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
no warrant, no key, privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights.
If you're an adult in need of accredited high school diploma, the Los Angeles Public Library can help. You can earn one for free in as few as 5 months online with 24/7 access. You also get a personal academic coach plus special training focused on 9 in-demand industries, as well as a resume and cover letter to advance your career. Visit the website at lapl.org/diploma. That's lapl.org/diploma.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We face tragedy, but we don't fall into despair. We continue our work to build a more perfect union.
You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and it's about that time for the quiet part out loud, with companies threatening to move out of California, and some have actually made good on that threat. It begs the question, Why companies born and raised in California are leaving the state? Well, the team over at the LA Times has a few ideas. They've pointed out that last month, billionaire In-N-Out owner Lindsay Snyder, she announced her move from California to Tennessee, where she plans to open new restaurants and continue raising her family. If it sounds dramatic, probably because it is. It's a dramatic shift for the leader of the beloved West Coast brand, which has become the latest company to signal its dissatisfaction with California in recent years. And she didn't mince words in explaining her decision, saying, quotes, "There's a lot of great things about California, but raising a family is not easy here. Doing business, it's not easy here." That's what she shared on the Relatable podcast hosted by conservative commentator Allie Beth Stuckey. You see, In-N-Out's headquarters will remain in California, but the company is consolidating its operation in the state and opening regional headquarters in Franklin, Tennessee. Other high-profile companies have more formally exited the state. Tesla moved its headquarters out of Palo Alto in 2021, the same year that financial services firm Charles Schwab relocated from San Francisco to North Texas. Elon Musk moved his head offices of his other companies, SpaceX and X, to Texas just last year, as did Chevron, the oil giant that started in California. The departures have contributed to a narrative pushed by some media and politicians that the state's economy is in trouble and unfriendly to business. You might have heard conservative commentators and Silicon Valley entrepreneur Steve Hilton, who announced his bid for California governor this year. He recently wrote on social media that the state, quotes, has the highest rate of poverty, highest housing costs, and the most hostile business environment in the country. Now, you want to know what the experts have to say? Well, according to the LA Times, experts and economists interviewed by the Times, they paint a more nuanced picture. You see, although California's steep taxes and stringent environment regulations have pushed some firms to leave, the state remains the fourth largest economy in the world, boasts a diverse pool of talent, and is a hub for technological innovation. The artificial intelligence boom has new companies flocking to Silicon Valley. That's what a number of folks have said, including William Riggs, who is a professor at the University of San Francisco School of Management. He says, quotes, "The popular media narratives have characterized California as one-dimensional." He says we continue to be a magnet for investment in tech, biotech, entertainment, and green energy, as well as being an agricultural hotbed for the planet. The corporate departures, although generating significant media attention, they represent adjustments to California's $4.1 trillion economy rather than signs of systemic decline. And so the next time you see folks out there talking about, oh, how difficult California is for businesses and this and that, dig a little bit further below the surface. You know, sometimes folks decide to be a little dramatic. Sometimes folks' stories could be the canary in the coal mine. Either way you cut it, we should be paying attention. And I think there's more work that we can do to become an even more business-friendly environment. But this idea that California is in decline, well, it's at odds with the facts. And so next time you see that on social media, next time you see people posting about it, you may want to repost this LA Times article entitled, "Why Companies Born and Raised in California Are Leaving the State." You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward in our next hour, you get a chance to take a listen to my conversation with Richard Lawson, the famous actor that's been around for decades. Tina Knowles' ex-husband. He has a new book out. And for young actors out there, for young artists out there, it's a great time to lean in. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. This week, we are in Martha's Vineyard, here participating in the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. And so if you're here, come on over and say hello. I would love to see you and love to chat with you. If you're not here, don't you worry. I'm going to give you the full scoop. I'm going to bring you the full scoop as often as I can this week. More when we come forward. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. Following this summer's issues at Newark Airport, the Department of Transportation is now looking into a decision made last summer to move airspace control for Newark from the New York base to Philadelphia. The FAA's decision was made due to staffing issues.
Moving N90 was the wrong decision. I'm confident that this audit will show just that. And again, we need to get more people hired so there's not overtime and there's less burnout.
That's New York Congresswoman Lauren Gillen. The audit is expected to take about 2 months. Tennessee death row inmate Byron Black is set to be executed tomorrow. The Black inmate has an implanted defibrillator and his attorney asked to have it deactivated. They claim the device could go off during the lethal injection, causing his client to suffer. Black was convicted in the shooting deaths of his girlfriend and her 2 daughters in 1998. And Sean Diddy Combs is being denied bail once again. Diddy is set to be sentenced October 3rd. I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News, now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams are facing another injury concern with quarterback Matthew Stafford. Stafford is planning to see a back specialist to get a better idea of the soreness he's been feeling in his back since the start of training camp last week. The 37-year-old Stafford has not participated in any of the Rams' workouts at Loyola Marymount. At the moment, the Rams' backup quarterbacks are Jimmy Garoppolo and Stetson Bennett. The Rams have about a month to see if Stafford will be ready for their season opener September 7th against Houston at SoFi Stadium. The NCAA is not expanding its tournament bracket for men's and women's basketball. A proposal had been submitted to expand the field from 64 teams to 72 or 76 for the coming season. Top 5 schools in the preseason college football poll: Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia, and Notre Dame. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, joining you from Martha's Vineyard, where I'll be here the whole week, participating in the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. I am looking forward to a little bit of downtime as well. But you know how I do it. Wherever I go, I like to bring all of you, all of our leaders, learners, and listeners along with me, because life is just always better when you have an opportunity to share it with other folks. Again, I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ, and there I am, fresh for you to follow. If you haven't already, go ahead and download the KBLA app. to listen to us live or on demand, or if you're feeling fancy, just tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580, and there we are, fresh for you to follow. Last but not least, be sure to subscribe to a More Perfect Union podcast. That way you'll never miss an episode. If you're following me on social media, you just might see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Behind-the-scenes stuff that doesn't always make it into the show, but is worth sharing, worth posting anyway. Now it's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. And kicking us off in Diddy news, Trump did it. Trump did it. What did he do exactly? Trump addressed the pardon decision for Sean Diddy Combs. And he said that the mogul was half innocent. Yeah, that's what he said. The president who's convicted of 34 counts, that's what he said about Diddy. He was half innocent. Let me explain. USA Today is reporting that President Donald Trump is breaking his silence on pardoning Sean Diddy Combs for the first time since the music mogul was acquitted of the most serious charges in a federal sex crimes trial just last month. In an interview that aired on August 1st on Newsmax with host Rob Finnerty, Trump discussed the possibility of presidential pardons for Combs, who was convicted. So he discussed the possibility of a presidential pardon for Combs, for convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, and former Representative George Santos. And when asked, Sean Diddy Combs, would you consider pardoning him? Trump didn't answer directly, but said that negative comments that Combs made about him would make it more difficult. On July 2nd, you might remember that jurors found Combs not guilty of the most serious charges of racketeering and sex trafficking, ex-girlfriends Cassie Ventura and a woman known as Jane in his sweeping trial that nearly lasted 2 months. Prosecutors had accused him of coercing the women to participate in drug-fueled sex parties known as freak-offs that sometimes lasted for days. President Trump said of Diddy, quotes, well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent. I don't know what they do. He's still in jail or something. He was celebrating a victory, but I guess it wasn't as good of a victory. USA Today reached out to representatives for Diddy, and during the interview, Trump said probably before pausing and revealing to the reporter that, quotes, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well, but when I ran for office, he was very hostile. And the reporter noted that, quotes, he had said some not nice things about you, sir. So, you know what this means? This means Diddy is out there twisting in the wind. Trump could pardon him. Trump could make him work harder to get that pardon. But he out there twisting in the wind. We'll see where the wind blows. But it can't be anything nice right now for Diddy. Where that pardon would make a big difference. In our first hour, we were reporting on the Texas state Democrats that had fled Texas in this ongoing saga around redistricting. Well, this hour we have an update that Texas Governor Greg Abbott orders arrest of Democratic lawmakers who fled over redistricting. The Republican governor of Texas has ordered Texas law enforcement to arrest Democratic lawmakers who fled the state to block a vote on redistricting that could give Republicans several more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. It's unclear whether and how Texas law enforcement will be able to work with out-of-state law enforcement to execute the arrest order, which Abbott said is designed to ensure that missing Democrats comply with civil arrest warrants issued by state Republicans earlier in the day. Those warrants only apply within state lines. And so I'm unclear what this is besides, a talking point, what this is besides, a media invention, because, again, governors don't have the power to go bring lawmakers back from another state. It's also worth noting that more than 50 state Democratic lawmakers, they fled August 3rd in this political power struggle. Many went to the Chicago area, where Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker greeted them. Others went to Boston, Massachusetts, and Albany, New York, all states with Democratic governors. And so we'll keep our eye on how this story develops. But when we come forward, you don't want to miss an encore presentation of my conversation with Richard Lawson. Richard Lawson's like Beyonce's former stepdad. That's just scratching the surface. His life, his career spans decades. And he has a lot to say to young artists, to future artists, and he has a great book that's out. And so it is worth this encore presentation. So you don't want to miss my conversation with Richard Lawson, actor Richard Lawson. When we come forward, you're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Want to extend that barbershop shave at home? Try Gillette Skin Guard, designed specifically for men who battle shaving irritation. With this irritation defense bar, 2 comfort blades, and a touch of aloe, it helps avoid shaving bumps and irritation, leaving me looking my best. I find it perfect for when I need a clean, fresh look, especially between barber visits. Tailored for black men, it's easy to use and offers the comfort my skin deserves. Stay confident between cuts with Gillette Skin Guard.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests as we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and delighted to welcome back to the show actor and author Richard Lawson. We're here talking about his new book titled The Artist Roadmap. The Artist Roadmap, navigating your career in show business. And let me tell you, this is a treasure. This is a treasure for everybody out there that is looking to be put on. If you want to learn from a master in this industry, nobody survives decades in this industry without knowing a little something. He has encapsulated so much of his wisdom in this book. Welcome to the show, Richard.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you. Well, I mean, you're a busy man. I mean, in addition to just your body of work, in movies like Poltergeist and on soap operas like Dynasty and All My Children, you're also on the #1 streaming show on Netflix, Beauty in Black by Tyler Perry. As if that wasn't enough, how did you find time to write a book?
Well, this book really has been written over the last 40 years, 55 years of my career. So it's a culmination of my collective knowledge of being an actor. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait.
You're good. Keep going.
Okay. Of being an actor, of being a teacher. I've been teaching since 1980. And so I've taken all that knowledge that I've learned. I have recorded every class that I've ever taught. And so it's in terms of going back in and taking the things that I have said along the way and shared along the way and my conversations along the way and my experience. And so it's a collection of my teaching, my experience as an actor, my experience as a person navigating my life and career. And I put all of that together to create this. So this is not only just for actors, it's for people. It's for anybody trying to negotiate their life or their career or their dream. And so that's what that is. It's a compilation.
And it comes at a really important time where we're seeing technology really disrupt business as usual. Everybody's talking about AI, artificial intelligence, and how disruptive it's going to be, not just to the entertainment industry, but every industry. And so this is a time where a lot of people are having to think about what's new now and next for them.
Right, exactly. And, it's interesting because Tyler talked about the fact that he was getting ready to expand his studio and put, a large amount of money in expansion. And then after, taking a look at the oncoming wave of AI, he realized that that model was not going to work the same for him going into the future. And so he's reworking his model in terms of studio, in terms of the kind of stuff that he's going to build. As a person who has constantly been on the edge of technology, and my philosophy in teaching is old school technology applied in with 21st century, old school knowledge applied through 21st century technology. I've always been forward in learning about technology, including AI. I wanted to take this course. I'm going to take the next one where they teach you all the elements of AI so that I can stay in front of it, because I don't want to be at effect to it. I want to be at cause over it. And because things change. I mean, since 1969, you can imagine how much change I have seen. Mm-hmm. And every time I've always been at the forefront of the change. So if you think in terms of a surfer has to catch the wave before it peaks to ride it in. And I'm trying to catch the wave of technology before it peaks so that I can at least be able to use it to my advantage and not say, oh my God, what do I do now? So through this teaching and through this book, I'm not going to have to depend so much on whether somebody's going to hire me to be in their next film. I'm creating my own industry and the other books that will come, and then I will do my own films and I'll do my own stuff so that I can stay in front of the wave.
I mean, I really, really dig that. And there are so many folks in our community, so many folks who've been in the game for a long time that have adopted that mindset. I'm going to create my own industry as opposed to waiting on somebody to discover me, right? And so when I think about, your body of work, when I think about the body of work of people like our friend Tavis Smiley, when I think about the body of work of people like Oprah Winfrey, people like Tyler Perry, these are folks who said, I'm not going to sit by the phone and wait for somebody to call me, right? No. I'm going to create my own industry. And these folks have done pretty well.
Look, I don't want to I've never been one to stand in line to have someone say, okay, you can come in. Wait, no, hold up. I don't want that experience. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that I can do is create my own space where people get in line to come into what it is that I'm creating, because I want to be in control of my destiny. I want people to be there for me, not having for me to have to be in line waiting to see if I'm going to be the chosen. Mm-hmm. I'm going to choose. It's sort of like this. It's like, what are you? Are you the thermometer or are you the thermostat? I don't want to be the thermometer where I'm reacting to the conditions that I have no control over. I want to be the thermostat. I want to set the temperature in the room, and therefore I control the comfort or lack thereof. I do not want to be reactive. I want to be proactive.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And, that's exactly what we try to do with this show, featuring the voices of leaders of industry and folks on the front lines, that aren't just reacting to what's happening in the world, but they are actually reimagining what's possible and inspiring us along the way. Again, I want to encourage our leaders, learners, and listeners to tap in and go get the Artist Roadmap, Navigating Your Career in Show Business by Richard Lawson. As if he wasn't busy enough, he's also found time to put together this book. But, I want to get into some of the powerful lessons that you offer up to readers in your new book, starting with this idea of how to harness your passion to fuel progress and stay resilient through challenges. There are a lot of challenges. There's no shortage of challenges in any industry and, across the country at the moment. But how do you do that? Where do you start when it comes to harnessing your passion in a way where you can be consistent?
Well, the first thing, when somebody comes into my school, my first question is why? Why are you here? Do you understand why you want to do this? Is this a desire or is this something you can't live without? So that if you're connected to that thing that you cannot live without, which is your purpose, and you're driven by that, because if you understand your purpose, then you have a passion for it. You're pregnant with it. You have to find that thing that you are pregnant with, that you can't just get out of. It's not like, okay, I'm done. It's like a pregnant woman can't say, you know what, I'm tired of this. It's like, no, you stuck, baby. You stuck for life. Yeah. And I want to be stuck with that thing that drives me, that gets me up every morning. So therefore, I don't care what the conditions, the outside conditions, you know what I mean? I don't care if it's lack of money, or if it's lack of sleep, or if it's just, people don't understand, or my voice is sort of an independent voice against the whole cry of on the other side is opposite. I am stuck and committed to this because this is my North Star. And it is the thing that drives me. It gets me up every day. That passion will help me to survive any condition. Even after, if I'm connected to my purpose will live long after my body drops away. My spirit will still be here. You look at Dr. Martin Luther King, you look at Malcolm X, you look at Gandhi, you look at Mother Teresa, you look at you look at Obama. Man, people are mourning the fact that Obama is not in. It's still because of what they put in place based upon their purpose. Your purpose is everything. You were put here for a reason.